I'm in Portland, and I just took the train down. It's the first time I've ever taken the train to Portland, or really anywhere, because train travel in North America is generally terrible and slow. But this was a halfway decent experience. What am I doing in Portland? I'm here for the Formula E race. I'm going to be taking some photographs and just being a general nerd about car racing. And I figured taking the train was sort of environmentally responsible, considering it's an electric car race. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna get settled in the hotel here, and then just kind of go for a walk around Portland. I think I gotta have a shower. I smell like train. It's not a good smell. Okay, Portland. Portland E-Prix, the Southwire Portland E-Prix. Let's talk about the race. Let's talk about Portland as a destination for travel right now. Let's talk about photography and the camera gear that I used and sort of the access to photography opportunities at the race, because this is supposed to be a photography channel, so I should probably talk about that stuff. Let's actually start with that. Let's start with the race and being a photographer at the race. Somebody who's not there working. So I could have applied for FIA accreditation. I have my name in the system. I've spoken to the organizer multiple times. When Formula E was supposed to come to Vancouver, I was fully accredited for that race, should it have happened. We'll discuss that later too. That is a little bit of a sore subject for me, but being a paying spectator and doing photography at this race was very different than an IndyCar race. If you've been to the Portland IndyCar race, you know that the access is unparalleled. You can walk through the paddock, depending on the ticket you have. You have to have a certain ticket to get across the track into the infield, but it's not that much more than a regular ticket, and the access is unbelievable. You have full paddock access. The drivers have their motorhomes in the back, so you can see the drivers, interact with them, talk to them, high-five them, whatever you want. You can see the cars up close, all of that stuff. Formula E is very much more in the European mold of motor racing and access, and it's on another level of professionality. So the fan village, the paddock, the access, it's all just on another level. If you're used to IndyCar or NASCAR, it's getting up to Formula One levels of access. It's very restricted depending on the ticket you pay for. Now, I will say that the ticket I paid for was a Grandstand Plus ticket, so it gave me infield access. It put me in the best grandstand on the track at the Festival Chicane. And I was close to the paddock. I could get up to the entrance of the paddock, but I couldn't enter the paddock. If I wanted to pay a little more, I could have got a wristband that got me into the paddock and the pit lane, but just for a very short amount of time. It was a scheduled visit, and it also gave access to an autograph session. So with that, the photography opportunities are somewhat limited. There's a great spot right beside Grandstand A where you can watch the cars come through the final turn just as they're about to head up the main straightaway. It's reasonably close to the track. There is a bit of a fence in the way, but the views from there are quite good. If you have infield access, if you get seats in Grandstand K, The views from Grandstand K are quite good, especially if you stand on the platform at the bottom at the tops of either one of the staircases. You can also, if you're at the top of the grandstand, turn around and look behind to see them going through turns 4, 5, and 6, I believe it is, which there's quite a bit of action there, but a lot of the action and a lot of the passing does happen into turn 1 and 2, so Grandstand K is definitely where to be. The IndyCar experience is very different. You can get to so many photography spots around the track, especially from the infield, that you just cannot do for Formula E. They have you very, very sectioned off and fencing, and it's very professionally done, and the signage is incredible, very, very professional. I stress that. It's a unbelievably polished, worldwide level experience. The gear I used to shoot the race, used my Fuji X-H1, which I don't actually know if you guys know that I have an X-H1. I traded in a camera a while ago and got myself this X-H1. It's been my primary camera for quite some time. I did a review on the X-T5. That was one of my last camera reviews that I did on this channel. And I still honestly think I prefer the X-H1 and even my X-T30 to the X-T5. Yeah, anyways, that's probably a topic for another video. But yeah, the X-H1, I'm actually filming on it right now in my hotel room here. Okay, so attending the race was very cool. The fan village was amazing. The food and beverage options were great. My ticket was a Grandstand Plus ticket. It was around, I think, $150 US. The race was 1 day, so we had free practice 2, qualifying, and the race all on the Saturday. But with Grandstand K and the Grandstand Plus ticket, you got food voucher, 2 food vouchers, a snack voucher, and 3 drink vouchers, which included alcoholic beverages from a few of their suppliers. I don't drink, but they had non-alcoholic Heineken there, so I had 3 of those. I had a breakfast burrito for lunch. I had a breakfast burrito for breakfast, along with a bunch of mini donuts. They had a water station there where you could drink water all day long. There was 2 of them, one in the infield, one in the fan village, which was great. I think I had a cheeseburger and fries for lunch and then some chicken later on. And yeah, it was value for money. It was outstanding what you got for the money you paid. I would put it on par with the IndyCar race. The IndyCar race, you get tons more access, and it's a 3-day event, but the extras that come with your 1-day event ticket for the E-Prix versus the Grand Prix, the IndyCar Grand Prix, I think it balances out. I really do. Now, for on-track action, there was 403 overtakes in this race, which is an absurd amount. Whether you know this or not, Portland is the first permanent road course that Formula E has ever raced on. They predominantly race on street tracks, so public roads converted into a racetrack for the race. One sort of exception to that is Monaco, which is a street track, but it's also somewhere where you can directly compare it to another series because Formula One races there. So this version of Portland International Raceway was 99% the same as what IndyCars race on, except for turn 1. They made turn 1 a little bit sharper to help with regen, which Formula E cars need to charge up their batteries. And it was really exciting, really great racing. And the cars were fast, they sound really cool. Obviously, it's not as loud as if you go to an IndyCar or F1 race. But I loved it. I had a great time. It was fantastic. So yeah, from a photography experience, it was pretty cool. The racing was great. The presentation was amazing. Yeah, just an overall 10 out of 10 experience. Now, coming to Portland and then getting around Portland and staying in Portland, I'm no stranger to this town. I've come here a lot of times, and this is the first time I've come here on the train, which was pretty good. It was about an 8-hour trip. A couple of hiccups along the way, but it's North American train travel. It's not a super polished experience like it is in Europe or elsewhere in the world. But it was acceptable, and it was the Amtrak Cascades, if you guys want to look that up. It was affordable. It was really affordable. Yeah, I would absolutely do it again. I'm staying at the Hotel Deluxe in downtown Portland. It's just north of the 405, like a block north of the 405, if you're familiar with the area. Yeah, so it's a great location. It's very walkable around the city. To get to the track, I took the yellow line, which is the Portland Max train. It's like a commuter rail that runs along the streets here in Portland. It's $5 for a day pass or $2.50 each way. It works out the same, so I just bought a day pass, which was very, very affordable. It drops you off right at the track, right outside the track. Could not be more handy. Portland itself, you know, there's a lot of stuff in the news about Portland, and a lot of stuff happened here during the pandemic with demonstrations and confrontations with police and blah, blah, blah. Portland, to me, has always been a bit of a rough town, and I think the food cart, craft beer, Portlandia persona that it took on for a little while there in the early 2000s kind of masked a lot of issues that were already happening in Portland, but it's nowhere near as bad as some people would have you believe. Yeah, there's homelessness here, there's mental health problems here. It's just like every other big city, and to pretend that it's somehow worse than even where I live in Vancouver, in Canada, would be just false. I never felt unsafe here. I don't feel unsafe in a lot of places, though, and I kind of have to recognize my privilege there because I am a large white man, and you can take that however you want. I generally feel safe in places where other people may feel unsafe, so your experience may not be the same as mine, and yeah, but by and large, I find Portland to be a very safe town, if not entertaining. I'll say that. There's definitely a lot going on. Yeah. But to me, it's not that much different than it was pre-pandemic, and everybody likes to talk about Portland being this absolute nightmare since the pandemic ended, and I just don't think that's the case. So, yeah. Overall, this was a great trip. I've given myself a full extra day here in Portland to just kind of be a tourist and walk around. Went to Powell's Books like I always do. It's such a cliche Portland thing to do, but it is the best bookstore. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how much I love Powell's, and whatever. Call me a hipster, call me a tacky tourist. It's the best. People still line up for Voodoo Donuts here in this town, which I do not understand. Way overrated. Sorry if you guys see this, but they're good donuts, just not worth lining up for. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Or find a time when they're not busy. If you see that there's a lineup, don't wait in it. It's not worth lining up for. If you come here, definitely do go to Deadstock Coffee, one of my absolute favorite places to have coffee anywhere in the world, and Tanaka, which is a katsu sandwich place that is outstanding. Their miso Caesar salad, one of the best Caesar salads I've ever had in my life. It's not even close. It's so good. Yeah, so on that note, that's it. That's it for me from Portland. Shout out to the Portland International Raceway, the FIA, and Formula E for putting on such a great event. I had a blast. I'm coming back down here at the end of the summer for the IndyCar race, so I'll make a video similar to this one for that race, and then I'm also attending a Formula One race later on this year. I'm not going to tell you where, I'm not going to tell you when, because I haven't told too many people about it yet, but stay tuned for that, because it's kind of a wild story about how that came to be. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any comments about Portland or Formula E, or about how my donut or coffee opinions are trash, be sure to leave them below in the comments, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.